Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today, guys, we're doing our jam-packed predictions for the month of October, guys. Look at AFC, CAF, CONCACAF, like UEFA. So hope you guys enjoy this jam-packed preview for you guys. And yeah, like I said, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Guys, enjoy. So now it's time to predict the Asia Confederation of the World Cup qualifiers. So starting with Group A, we got here, it is Qatar, UAE, Oman. Oman versus Qatar. I'm going to say Qatar wins this one like in a 3-1 win. I think Qatar will win. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet because, as I said before, guys, Qatar's defense is just garbage. So I think Qatar will still win, but I don't think they'll win with a clean sheet, which could come back to bite them. UAE versus Oman. I think UAE is going to win this one 3-0 against Oman, and yeah, I think they're going to do it. I'm going to say they're going to do it. And then the final game we got here is Qatar versus UAE. UAE's defense is pretty sturdy, and Qatar not so much. So maybe UAE might win this one again, but this time around, I actually think it's gonna be a draw. I think it's gonna be a draw, and I'm gonna say this ends 1-1. And I think UAE will actually top this group due to goal difference. Because remember, guys, I did say that UAE doesn't concede Oman. That's how they're gonna top this group because of the fact. And I think UAE's defense is better than Qatar. I think UAE will do this. So I'm gonna say UAE 4 points with a superior goal difference to top group. And Qatar to obviously finish. Group B, we got here Indonesia versus Saudi Arabia. Remember the match that happened in the World Cup qualifiers, both games. Indonesia won the home game, and the first game ended in a tie. Indonesia picked up 4 points, but this time around, this is the fourth round. Saudi Arabia kind of have improved since then, I would imagine. So, yeah, I think Saudi Arabia is actually going to win this one this time around, and I think they're going to pick up a crucial 1-0 win. And I think Iraq will also beat Indonesia 1-0. I'll say both 1-0 wins. And then I think the final game, I just think Saudi Arabia is going to beat Iraq 1-0. 1-0, guys. 1-0. So there you have it, again. Those are my quick fire predictions for the month of Asia. Let me know what you guys think of my 6 predictions, and we'll see how this ages for the month, guys. I do my October recap. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744, and today, guys, we're predicting the final set of the CAF World Cup qualifier games. So by the end of today's predictions, you guys will know which nations I think will directly qualify, which nations will be the best runners-up, and all that good stuff, guys. So remember, guys, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'm so excited for this confederation because this confederation, in my opinion, has been the best World Cup qualifiers in 2026. Like, this confederation is so competitive. There's so many upsets that could happen, so many top teams underperforming. This confederation has it all. Name me another confederation that has better storylines going to the final. You can't. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with Group A with this one. To be quite frankly honest with you guys, this group is pretty much already decided that even though Egypt haven't directly qualified yet, they're pretty much 95% directly qualified. And second place, while it is Burkina Faso at this current moment, it isn't a guarantee. Although I will say they're probably in the strongest position to do so, given the goal difference they have and given the fact that they're 3 points ahead. But it is only 3 points ahead, though. So it's not that big of a margin. So let's go ahead and look at the games itself. Start with the first game we got here is Ethiopia versus Guinea-Bissau. I'm going to say this ends in a draw. I just feel like Ethiopia, for me, I think could hold Guinea-Bissau to a draw. Guinea-Bissau have been underperforming the World Cup qualifiers. I expect them to do so much better. I thought they would be in the battle with Burkina Faso for that second place, but really they've been faltering. So, yeah, I just don't really trust Guinea-Bissau. Djibouti versus Egypt, this should be a routine Egypt win. No questions asked. And with this victory, I think Egypt actually automatically qualifies. So, shout out to Egypt. The Sri Lanka versus Burkina Faso, this is going to be a huge one. I actually think it's going to end in a draw. I think Sierra Leone at home is going to give Burkina Faso a lot of problems, and I think Burkina Faso will not be able to break down the Sierra Leone defense. And for that reason, I think it will play out to a draw. Burkina Faso should beat Ethiopia. Djibouti versus Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone should obviously win. And Egypt should, of course, beat Guinea-Bissau. So, really, like I said, this group, Egypt will get the first place spot, and second place will go to Burkina Faso. Whether that will be enough for Burkina Faso to be the best 4 runners-up, you have to wait till the end. See what I think. But yeah, let's move to Group B, guys. Group B, this group is also kind of already decided. Senegal will most likely qualify, especially with them winning away in DR Congo the last match day. And Sudan, it's looking kind of rough for them. They lost to Togo, and I think it's put them in a really bad position because they're 4 points behind. And DR Congo, man, really blew it, man, the last window. But going to the games we got here, South Sudan versus Senegal. Senegal should win this one. Togo versus DR Congo. I think DR Congo will get us will scrape a win here. Sudan versus Mauritania. I actually think Sudan will beat Mauritania. South Sudan versus Togo. I'm going to say ends in a draw. And DR Congo versus Sudan. I say think DR Congo wins. And Senegal to beat Mauritania. So Senegal will go perfect this window, in my opinion. And Senegal will automatically qualify. And DR Congo will finish in second place. So now let's move on to Group C. Right, we got here. It is now this group, guys. This group has got a lot more interesting than it originally was. Remember, I was saying that South Africa could be deducted 3 points for the fielding eligible player versus Lesotho. Well, they finally did it. CAF finally gave them the point deduction as we expected them to do. It just took a very long time, which is kind of surprising because I thought they would react sooner. But hey, at least it's been done. So now this group. Wow, look at how crazy this group is. All the nations except Zimbabwe are mathematically still in this. I believe this is the only CAF group that all the nations, most nations basically, are still in this fight. It just shows how competitive this group is. And for me, this is probably the most competitive group in the World Cup qualifiers. Probably the most competitive. So that makes the group very interesting. Anyways, let's go ahead and discuss the games itself. So let's start with Rwanda versus Benin. Benin, man, this is a really big one. Do Benin beat Rwanda? Honestly, I don't think so. I think because Rwanda's at home, and even though Benin have been great so far in the qualifiers, and they do have obviously Nigeria's former coach, something tells me Benin's going to slip up. And I think this is going to end in a draw. This is great. Nigeria should beat Lesotho. They should. And that would be huge for Nigeria. They have to win this one. Zimbabwe versus South Africa. Yes, Zimbabwe is already eliminated. They have nothing to play for. But even with the Zimbabwe team, Zimbabwe's a very tricky team, guys. This is a team that held Nigeria twice to 2 draws. And remember, guys, Zimbabwe's at home. Sorry, a neutral venue, should I say. Zimbabwe can do it. I think Zimbabwe will take a point off South Africa, and I think that's going to end in a draw. Lesotho versus Zimbabwe. This is where the road ends for Zimbabwe. I think Lesotho will win this one. South Africa versus Rwanda. South Africa should win, and Nigeria should beat Benin at home, you would expect. Although Benin did beat Nigeria in the reverse fixture, so you never know. So, according to my predictions, South Africa will still top the group. They will get 4 points, which will still be enough for them to finish on 18 points. And I got Nigeria finished on 17 points, and Benin to miss out with 15 points. Yeah. Benin will just fall short, I think. And I think Nigeria will take second place. Whether they'll be one of the best 4 runners-up, we'll have to see. But Nigeria, man, they better get 6 points this window. This is a massive opportunity for Nigeria. Let's move to the Group D we got here. It is Cape Verde, Cameroon, Libya, Mauritius, and Eswatini. Cape Verde, man, they're moments away from history. They just need one more win to secure the World Cup. Will they do it? And for Cameroon, they have to go perfect this window and hope that Cape Verde don't get any points, which seems really difficult. And Libya still have a slimmer a chance to do it. And Angola, while it's mathematically there, it's pretty unlikely. Let's face it. And obviously, Mauritius and Eswatini are eliminated. So Mauritius versus Cameroon, I think Cameroon will get the win. They need to win this one. They better win this one. Mauritius have been awful. Libya versus Cape Verde. I actually think Cape Verde will actually draw points here. I think Libya is a really good team. And remember, they have Senegal's former coach Aliou Cisse at the helm. And for that reason, I think Cape Verde will draw points. I think they'll draw it, though. That's what team versus Angola. Angola should win. Cape Verde versus Eswatini. I got Cape Verde to win that. And Cape Verde will qualify. Mauritius versus Libya. I'm going to say Libya wins this one. And Cameroon versus Angola. Cameroon to win this one. So if my predictions come to fruition, it would mean that Cape Verde would top the group and Cameroon will get second place. Moving to Group E, we got here. This group is very confusing to discuss because obviously we don't know what CAF will do. I'm assuming they're not going to count the results against last place teams, so they're going to probably withdraw that. And so let's just get on with this group. This group has pretty much kind of already decided. If anything, we're just going to find out the second place. And let's be real, I don't think the second place team will make it from this group, but I'll just do this anyway. Nigeria versus Congo, I'm going to say Tanzania and Niger win. I think Tanzania beats Zimbabwe at home. And then Zambia versus Nigeria. Zambia should win, and Morocco to beat Congo. So that would mean that Tanzania would get second place. 11 points, though, and it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. Let's be real. They're not making the best four runners up. Moving to Group F, we got here, guys. It is Ivory Coast and Gabon. Basically, it's a shootout between Ivory Coast and Gabon. All the other teams are eliminated. And we'll see if Ivory Coast automatically qualify for this month, and Gabon are literally just 1 point behind. Let's look at the group games we got here. Burundi versus Kenya. I'll say it ends in a draw. Seychelles versus Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast should win that. Gambia versus Gabon. Now, this is a tricky one, guys. This could be a tricky one because we know Gambia on their day could be a great team, but Gambia has been really bad in the qualifiers. So I think Gabon will actually win this one. Seychelles versus Gambia. I'm going to say it ends in a Gambia win. Gabon versus Burundi. Gabon to win Ivory Coast. So Ivory Coast will still top the group, and Gabon, I think, will just fall short. They'll finish the second place, though. Moving to Group G, we got here, guys. We got Algeria, Uganda, Mozambique, Guinea, and Botswana. So basically, all the nations, basically barring Somalia, are basically still in this. Although that being said, Guinea and Botswana can no longer top the group, but they can still get the playoff spot, which makes things interesting. So let's start with the first game. We got here, Somalia versus Algeria. Algeria should win this one, of course. Mozambique versus Guinea. This is a tough one to call. A really difficult one to call. I'm going to say ends in a draw. Ends in a draw. Botswana versus Uganda. I'm going to say Uganda wins this one. I think Uganda wins this one, guys. Uganda wins this one. Guinea versus Botswana. Guinea should win this one. Mozambique should beat Somalia, and Algeria to beat Uganda. So if my predictions come to fruition, that would mean that Algeria would directly qualify. And I believe I actually have Uganda. I think I have Mozambique. Yeah, I have Mozambique to finish the second place. Mozambique to finish the second place. Mozambique to finish the second place. So, with 4 points. We'll see if that will be enough for one of the best runners up, though. The Group H, you got Tunisia, Namibia, Liberia, Malawi, Guinea, and Sao Tome and Principe. We have a very competitive group right here, guys. Let's go ahead and get on with it. So, we'll see which nation gets second place in this group. Malawi versus Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea should win this one. Liberia versus Namibia. I'm going to say Namibia wins this one. September versus Liberia versus Tunisia. Tunisia wins. Equatorial Guinea versus Liberia. Equatorial Guinea to win. September versus Malawi. I'm going to say ends in a draw. And Tunisia versus Namibia. I actually think Namibia will get a point here since Tunisia are basically already qualified and they're going to basically play for nothing. And I think Tunisia will rotate. And I have a feeling Namibia will be very up for it. And I think they'll get a draw, which will be enough for them to be one of the best runners up, which will be enough for them to get that 4 points. Then finally, with the final group, we got Group I. We got here, guys. Wow, Group I, man. Wow, what a group this is. We got Ghana, Madagascar, Comoros, and Mali. It's basically a shootout, basically, between Madagascar, Comoros, and Mali, because let's be real, Ghana should be directly qualifying. That's going to make things interesting. So let's start with the first game we got here. Is Chad versus Mali. Mali should definitely win this one. Ghana should be Central African Republic. Comoros versus Madagascar. This is a really close one to call. I'm going to say it ends in a draw. Chad versus Central African Republic. I'm going to say that ends in a draw. Ghana versus Comoros. Ghana should win that. And Mali versus Madagascar. I'm going to say it also ends in a draw. So, Ghana will directly qualify and Madagascar to get second place. Now let's go look at the runners-up, guys. As you can see right here, guys, my 4 best runners-up I have are Gabon, DR Congo, South Africa, and Cameroon. Because Gabon got 25 points, DR Congo gets 22, South Africa gets 21, Cameroon gets 21. So it's going to come down to the wire, guys, and this is how I think it's going to finish. So I hope you guys enjoy this CAF World Cup qualifiers, October edition predictions. And yeah, like I said, guys, we'll see how many I can get correct at the end of this month, and we'll see how many runners-up I call. So we'll see what happens. Hope you guys did enjoy. Okay, now it's time for your CONCACAF section of it. So let's start with Group A as we left off this September month. We got Suriname that's top of the group, 4 points. El Salvador with 3 points. Panama with 2 points, and Guatemala at the bottom with 1. So starting with the first game we got here, Suriname versus Guatemala. This is a really interesting one to call. I'm going to say this ends in a draw, though. This will end in a draw. And I think Guatemala will hold into a draw. Yes, Suriname have been great. I don't think that I just don't think they'll continue their good form. I have a feeling they're going to drop points, and I think they'll draw here. El Salvador versus Panama, really difficult one to call, but I think Panama should do this. El Salvador, as I said, their offense is non-existent, and so I think Panama will kind of scrape a win here. Probably unconvincing win, but they get the win regardless. Panama versus Suriname. Panama should win this game, being at home. And then El Salvador versus Guatemala. I'm going to say this one ends in a draw. So El Salvador pick up 4 points against Guatemala, and Guatemala can at least get something here. Guatemala better not lose both games against El Salvador. Moving to Group B, we got here, it is Jamaica, 6 points, Curacao, 4 points, Trinidad, 1 point, and Bermuda on no points. Starting with the first game, we got Bermuda versus Trinidad. Trinidad should win this one. Curacao versus Jamaica. The interesting one. I'd say Curacao can maybe get a result here, but I think Jamaica are way too strong. I think Jamaica will get the win here, and I think they'll take care of business. Curacao versus Trinidad and Tobago. Curacao, this is a huge opportunity for you. If they win this game, I think they got second place locked in. If it ends in a draw, it's still up for grabs, and if Trinidad wins, second place is pretty much up there. I'd say winner take basically whichever nation wins this one is in a great position to get second place. I'm going to say this ends in a draw, though. Keeps it all the way to the final match day, and I think Jamaica beat Bermuda. So I feel like this group is pretty straightforward. I think the game that's going to be the most interesting, though, is the Curacao versus Trinidad. That has huge implications on second place. Moving to Group C, we got Honduras on 4 points, Costa Rica on 2 points, Haiti on 2 points, and Nicaragua auto with 1 point. So starting with we got here Nicaragua versus Haiti. I'm going to say this ends in a draw, which I think is a decent result for Haiti. Not so good result for Nicaragua. Honduras versus Costa Rica. I actually think Costa Rica is going to drop points here. I think Honduras will actually hold them to a draw, and I think Costa Rica will struggle. And yeah, I actually have Costa Rica drop points. Honduras versus Haiti. Honduras should beat Haiti, and I got Costa Rica to beat Nicaragua. So there you have it, man. Those are my CONCACAF predictions for the month of October. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, now it's time for me to do the UEFA section of the World Cup qualifiers. So we're going to go ahead and do these. So starting with Group A, as we can see right here, got Slovakia is top, Northern Ireland second, Germany third, Luxembourg last. Yeah, let's get to the games. Northern Ireland versus Slovakia. I do think Slovakia will win this game. Yeah, I expect Germany to beat Luxembourg. Northern Ireland, Germany should be beating Northern Ireland, and I do think Slovakia will beat Luxembourg. So basically, all the wins there for the expected teams. I'm basically having a shootout basically between Germany and Slovakia for the top two. I just feel like they're just better than Northern Ireland, Luxembourg. Yeah, let's see. Moving to Group B, we got here to Switzerland on 6, Kosovo on 3, Sweden on 1, and Slovenia on 1. Kosovo versus Slovenia. Honestly, guys, I'm actually going to give Kosovo a point here. I was really impressed with what they did against Sweden, and I thought they put up a fantastic showing. And yeah, I think Kosovo will actually get a point here and pick up a draw here for this one. Yeah, and the Sweden versus Switzerland, I'm going to say ends in a draw. I'm tempted to go with Switzerland to win, but I don't think Switzerland will beat Sweden on the road, so that's why I don't win. So I'll just play it safe and say draw. Slovenia versus Switzerland. I do think this one, Switzerland wins this one. I think this one. And Sweden versus Kosovo. I think Sweden wins this one. So Sweden will have a good window after the disastrous window they had in September, and I think Slovenia will actually have a stinker window. 1 point. And Switzerland having a pretty solid window. Moving on to Group C, we got here, it is Denmark on 4 points, Scotland on 4 points, Greece on 3, Belarus on no point. All right, so we have Belarus versus Denmark. Denmark should easily beat Belarus. Scotland versus Greece. Now, this is a very difficult one to call, guys. I'm going to say, because it's away, guys, I'm going to say ends in a draw. I think it ends in a draw. I feel like Scotland defensively are pretty solid, this being a Scotland as well. I don't really think they'll win this one, so I think I'll just play it safe, say draw. Scotland should beat Belarus, and I think Denmark should beat Greece. I think Denmark will do double over Greece. Moving on to Group D, we got here France on 6 points, Iceland on 3, Ukraine on 1, Azerbaijan on 1. We got Iceland versus Ukraine. I'm going to say it ends in a draw. Ends in a draw. I'm not really been convinced with Ukraine. Ukraine been underwhelming. I Iceland have been good, but I don't think Iceland will win this one. I think I'll just play it safe, say draw. France should beat Azerbaijan. France should obviously beat Iceland, and Ukraine should be beating Azerbaijan. Good thing. So I think the game that will be the most interesting is Iceland Ukraine because that's a game that's hard to call. But I'll just say Group E. Got here is Spain on 6 points, Georgia on 3, Turkey on 3, Bulgaria on 0. We got Bulgaria versus Turkey. Turkey should obviously be winning this game. Spain should be beating Georgia. Turkey, I think, will beat Georgia again, and Spain should be beating Bulgaria. Part of me thinks that maybe Bulgaria can hold Turkey to a draw since Turkey's on the road, and we know Turkey's unpredictable. But come on, Turkey should still win that one. But part of me thinks that I could see a draw. I wouldn't be shocked if a draw happens, but I'll say Turkey wins. Group F, we got here. It is Portugal on 6 points, Armenia on 3, Hungary on 1, Republic of Ireland on 1. We got here Hungary versus Armenia. Hungary should be beating Armenia. Portugal should be beating Republic of Ireland. And Republic of Ireland versus Armenia, I'm going to say ends in a draw there, and Portugal should be beating Hungary. Yeah, very interesting. I think the Republic of Ireland versus Armenia game is the most interesting game in this group match October month. In Group G, we got here Netherlands on 10 points, Poland on 10, Finland on 7, Lithuania on 3, Malta on 2. Finland versus Lithuania, I'm going to say Finland wins this one at home. Malta versus Netherlands, Netherlands should win. Netherlands should beat Finland, and Lithuania versus Poland, Poland should be winning. So pretty straightforward here. I don't think this group will contain any surprises. I think all the expected was yeah. Group H, you got Bosnia on 12 points, Austria on 12 points, Romania on 7, Cyprus on 4, and San Marino on 0 points. We got Austria versus San Marino. Austria should definitely beat San Marino. Cyprus versus Bosnia. Bosnia should win this one. San Marino versus Cyprus, I'm going to say ends in a draw. And Romania versus Austria, I do have a feeling that it's going to end in a draw. I think even though Romania have been pretty bad in these games so far, I do think that Austria will struggle here and not get the win, even though they're probably expected to win. I'll say it ends in a draw. Give Romania the benefit. Moving on to Group I, we got here Norway on 16 points, Italy on 9, Israel on 9, Estonia on 3, and Moldova on the bottom with 0 points. So starting with Norway versus Israel, Norway should be beating Israel. Let's be real. Italy should be beating Estonia. Estonia versus Moldova, I think will end in a draw. And Italy should definitely beat Israel again. Group J, we got here North Macedonia 11 points, Belgium on 10, Wales on 10, Kazakhstan on 3, and Liechtenstein bottom with no points. Kazakhstan versus Liechtenstein, I'm going to say Kazakhstan win this one. Belgium versus North Macedonia, Belgium wins this one. North Macedonia versus Kazakhstan, I'm going to say ends in a North Macedonia win. And Wales versus Belgium, I'm going to say ends in a draw. I think this time around, Wales will get the point of the. I just don't see Belgium beating Wales away from home. Wales have a pretty good home record. Moving on to Group K, we got here England on 15 points, Albania on 8, Serbia on 7, Latvia on 4, and Andorra on the bottom with no points. So we're going to start with Latvia versus Andorra. I think this ends in a draw here. Serbia versus Albania. This is a massive game, guys. This game could have massive implications for second place. And I'm going to say, because Serbia is technically the home team for this one, I do think Serbia will actually get the win here for this one. But I really do think Albania needs to get something here, guys. Yeah, I think Serbia. Actually, do I say Serbia win? No, you know what? I'm going to say draw, actually. After seeing Serbia got battered in the last one against England, I'm going to say draw. Andorra versus Serbia, Serbia should win, and England should definitely beat Latvia. So, yeah, I'm going to say it ends in a draw there. Serbia, Albania, I think will end again. But the following group, we got here Group L. We got Croatia on 12 points, Czech Republic on 12, Faroe Islands on 6, Montenegro on 6, Gibraltar on the bottom with no. So we got Czech Republic versus Croatia. I'm going to say ends in a draw. I think Czech Republic's pretty good at home, so I think they'll hold Croatia to a draw. Faroe Islands versus Montenegro. I'm going to say ends in a draw. The Faroe Islands versus Czech Republic to win. The Croatia versus Gibraltar. There you have it, man. That is my entire World Cup qualifiers predictions done for you guys for the month of October. Let me know what you guys think of the concept below all my predictions. And yeah, we'll see how this ages when I do my October. For guys to like and subscribe as well.